you're about to watch a Deck the Hallmark episode,
good
thanks
for
for
you.
doing that. Chances are the movie we're about to cover can be found on Philo.
Yeah, Philo's where you find all of your TV movies, all your reality TV shows, your kids shows. Philo's for everyone. It costs less than half of what YouTube and Hulu do.
That's exactly right. You can get Philo for 25% off for 2 months by going to philo.tv/DTH or click that little button.
That one right there?
Right over yonder.
Right over there? Oh, my
I think it's like
goodness.
above your head or
Oh,
something. I
really?
don't know.
Up
Here's the
here?
episode.
Hey.
This is a Bramble Jam podcast. Hi, I'm Bran, and is that Daryl Strawberry?
Hello.
Daryl, how are you?
Never again, I say.
Why
Never.
are you here on a Monday?
I thought this was The Price is Right.
Okay, come on down.
I'm Dan. I despise Lifetime movies.
I'm Alonzo, and I have no idea what's going on in this.
Here's the Deck the Hallmark podcast. To be fair, I feel like we were all caught off guard by a callback to, I don't know, 6 weeks ago?
2 months probably.
2 months probably, of one joke.
And
we
a
did
Win Calls the Heart episode.
In a Win Calls the Heart episode we did 2 months ago. That Brand,
Alonzo loves the Win Calls
he
the Heart
does.
episode.
He listens every week.
I listen more often than you'd think, but I guess I missed that.
You know,
one.
it's crazy when you put out 5 episodes a week, how much people just don't care enough to listen to you 5 hours a week. It's almost like it's a lot.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. If you cared, you would. That's
Hey, look, one of these days we're not going to be around and you're going to be thankful. You're going to go back and listen to all this.
What's happening?
Well, I mean, one of these, you know what I mean? Like, not right now,
One
Brand.
of these days?
Yeah, see my Jesus face to face, but also like, like 2058. What if we stop the podcast in 2058?
Good Lord, I hope we're not still
Yeah.
doing this podcast
So
in
what-
2058.
What if this became a show about finding love at the holidays and then became the #1 podcast in the country?
Whoa! Let's set our dreams a little higher. But let's just say in 40 years we're not doing this anymore. Panda's 136. You and I are in our 70s. And there's going to be some people out there in our 50s who were definitely 12 that listen to us and go, man, I didn't listen to all the episodes. Now I've got plenty of episodes to catch it. Sooner or later, it's going to be nice to have all this content.
No, Dad, I think Lacey still got it. She still got it.
Oh, my goodness.
And then once they get all the way through, they might finally go, maybe I'll check out a film and a movie.
It's only 50 episodes, not even worth my time. I've got 50,000 to do. I will say this. Episode 1,000, we got to do something, right?
Got to do something.
We're at what, like 400 right now?
How
We're
are we
be
not
like,
there yet?
we've been doing like one a day for forever.
Yeah.
Like episode 1,000's got to be something.
What do we do?
I don't know, but that's not for a couple
We
3
do
years.
we do an ultimate best of.
ultimate best of.
It's just 10 days long.
I don't know what you're right. What do we do to make things different and out of the box?
Yeah.
At 1,000, woof. Who knows?
I think
Rig?
you have to go to Kansas and do it in the lobby of the Hallmark Corporate.
I like
Without their permission.
Ooh.
Even better.
Yeah.
Maybe we find a week where there's like we just for a year we know 1,000's coming up and we travel to all the movie sets unannounced. We don't tell anybody, and we just try to record and get interviews the whole time. We play it all on episode 1,000.
Not bad. That's
Maybe
a lot of-
we
lot of
release
travel.
the footage of us on USS Christmas.
That
we
I
never
think we could
released. There's some footage we got for sure of us hanging out waiting to be on a movie that we never got to
Does
be
it
on.
include the bratwurst?
It does not include the bratwurst. It includes a lot of sitting around playing with face shields.
Alleged bratwurst.
Alleged
There's
bratwurst.
no
No,
footage.
I'm there. I'm an eyewitness. It happened.
Yeah, you're trustworthy.
Yeah, I am.
When it comes to bratwurst,
Yeah.
you sure are.
Speaking of
Unfortunately.
face shields,
Let's talk about Dear Christmas. That was
They didn't need him for this movie.
Yeah, no one on set.
It was 8 people.
This movie was like fully approved by the CDC. It's like, you guys, you're fine.
Yeah.
Like, just don't even worry about
Pretty
it.
much sheltering in place.
Right? You guys are your bubble. You're fine.
You're good.
You guys are
You're
your
good.
bubble.
You're
You're your
staying
bubble.
within your pod.
That's right. Your quarantine.
Oh man, don't miss those terms, huh? Dear Christmas originally aired on November 27th. 2020.
2020.
And I went a little something. Was this up against CCB? Is that what they're doing now every year
I think so.
with Melissa Joan Hart?
Clash of the Titans.
Really is, huh?
Look, I like Melissa Joan Hart more than I like CCB, but that is like bringing a single A ball club to play the World Series champions. That's just not, that's like bringing Little
That's tough.
Caesars to play.
It's what Lifetime's got.
Yeah, that's true.
It originally aired on November 27th, 2020, and it went a little something like this. Natalie is the host of the #1 podcast in the world. It also won Podcast of the Year, and also it's called Holiday Love. Natalie is going home to Lake Tahoe. She's on her way, and she gets a flat tire in town, just a few minutes from home. Luckily, Mr. Christmas rides by, who is a tow truck driver, helps her fix it. His truck is decked out. She sits inside of his truck, and it's decked out with Christmas lights, hot cocoa, candy cane, and all the serial killer vibes you could ask for. When Natalie arrives home, she sees her sister, who is expecting child. She's with child, and her parents, who now own a bookstore in town. Natalie is planning on recording some stuff for the podcast while she's at home, and to do a quote-unquote live podcast on Christmas Eve. Natalie finds out that her old childhood diaries are in her room in boxes, and so she goes through those, reads them. Big fun. The next morning, Mr. Christmas is outside her window hanging Christmas lights. The hunk turns out to be an old classmate. They were an 8th grade band together, and they decorate the house together, and they have a lovely time. Mr. Christmas hosts a alleged sing-along, we don't see it, at the bookstore, and runs into Natalie. And he admits, I've been listening to the podcast a little bit. I like it. And they realize that they've been literally to all of the same places in the world at the same exact time, it seems like, and yet have not met each other since 8th grade, of course. They find a tree in the woods together. They chop it down, because that's what you do. And Natalie gives Mr. Christmas's niece some dating advice. It's great for everybody involved. The tree comes home. They bring the tree home, and the sister sees Mr. Christmas, and she's like, woo-wee. There's a Christmas party. Again, we don't see that. And Chris and Natalie then go and make some heart-shaped ornaments for the nurses and first responders. And we get some just glass blowing, so that's wonderful. And in the process of, holding a fireball, he says, hey, do you want to go to the fireman's ball with me? And she's like, of course I do. Except the night of the fireman's ball, the sister goes into labor. And Natalie sticks around just long enough to make sure that her sister is okay, and then runs off to the ball. The ball's over, but you know who's not gone yet? Mr. Christmas. He was waiting for her just in case she stopped by. They have a dance, and that's fine. Natalie thinks that it's too early to be falling in love. Love takes time, she keeps thinking to herself. He comes over to meet the new baby, who just happens to be a plastic doll. He holds it, and she's just watching, thinking, boy, he'd be a good dad, but can he be my husband? This is all happening so fast. I don't know. Plus, I got to go back to Chicago. It doesn't make sense. And he's like, listen, love takes time, but I've had a crush on you since the 8th grade. He gets back in his car, and we see he had some sort of ring, an engagement ring, with him. Was he ready to propose? I don't know. Natalie then makes a sad gingerbread man, so you know she's real bummed out. Natalie broadcasts her quote-unquote live podcast to tens of people that all live in Lake Tahoe. She starts to ramble. She doesn't know what to talk about. And then she decides, I'm going to tell the story about Chris, and she tells everybody how much she loves him. And then we see that she has her 8th grade diary that shows that she loved him as well back in 8th grade. Mr. Christmas shows up and kisses her her while she's in her PJs and he's wearing a Santa costume, standard first kiss type of stuff. They kiss, and that's we're all very excited about it. And that, my friends, was Dear Christmas.
We did it. Boy. Yeah, we did.
We got 4 segments. We're going to break it down. We're going to take a quick break first and come back here on Deck the Homework. Hello, you over there. My name is Brand. Hey, I want to tell you about a place. It's called Philo. That's right. It's a place. It's a state of mind. It's a thing that you can watch your shows. You can have a lot of fun. Unlimited DVR. Ho, 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 ho. DVR is so good. It lasts a year like you know it should. And even better, 25% off for 2 months.
Where are you going to find it?
Philo.tv/DTH. Dun, 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 dun. Philo.tv/DTH. Dun, 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 dun. Philo.tv/DTH, in case it wasn't clear. Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about Dear Christmas here
You know
on
what
this
gets old?
podcast.
Christmas in July gets so. You know what doesn't get old? Those Philo ads.
They sure don't.
Man,
You never know what you're gonna
every
get.
time we crush it.
I love Philo.
I did not realize Bran had such mad flow.
mad flow, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Dear Christmas, the movie that I think represents podcasting
Better than any.
We can finally be proud of one of these. Let's talk about it. Let's start with the hot take, and I will start with my good friend Alonzo. Alonzo, take us to the hot place. I don't know. I was trying a new thing. I don't know.
Lord.
Yeah, this movie is just kind of nonsense. I mean, just between the podcast stuff and the okay, we take it for granted with these movies that like someone's going to come back to their hometown and like rekindle something they had with their like high school sweetheart or the person they ignored in high school or whatever. But this movie actively makes the case that relationships are only good if they take time, but take time means if you had a crush on a guy in the 8th grade and then you run into him later, then all of that time since the 8th grade counts as the time required to build a
That counts.
relationship.
Counts.
It counts. Time is time.
Time is time.
Yeah.
What is time? Like,
is time?
can we all just agree? Like,
Yeah.
let's just pick a
It's a flat
time.
circle.
Like, just pick a time, right?
Pick a time.
So yeah, there's some things I like, and we'll get into that. But oof, this movie is just kind of even by the scale of these movies is nonsense.
In this journey that we've gone on, have we watched 2 or 3 Melissa Joan Hart movies?
Well, she directed Feliz Navidad,
right.
and then when she did the
She has a
toy
cameo.
she does. She
Yes.
did the Toy
So
Store.
we've watched 2 that she's in, 1 that she's directed. This
Yeah.
is my favorite
Okay.
of of those ones.
If that's what we're just scaling, sure,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I did like it, but there's also a lot about this movie that is not likable in general, such as just the horrendous understanding of podcasting,
Oh.
the very odd definition of time, her podcast theme in general. A lot of it just made me go, I hate you and everything you stand for. But there's also a certain amount of charm in this movie. I like the 2 leads together. There was something about them that I found to be warm and enjoyable. But aside from that, not a ton in this movie to cheer for. But yeah, I mean, it was fine. Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. This movie's airtight. I mean, this is a think piece on a zombie apocalypse. Like, you know, everybody else is worried about the zombies and everything. These are the 8 people that have found a place where no one else lives, and they've made themselves safe, and they've created a universe that makes sense in their heads. And that's one where you do live podcasts, and they're not online radio. They're podcasting, but live. At one point in this movie, I looked and I was like, man, the lead guy looks like Jason Priestley, but ancient. And it turns out, no, look. I know that that's not nice. That's what happened. I'm not making a joke. I legitimately was like, that guy looks like an older Jason Priestley. It's just Jason Priestley. It's just him. He's just there hanging out. He doesn't even get second billing. Ed Begley gets second billing, who is a zombie in this movie. He's not even trying. Improv extraordinaire Ed Begley Jr. is not trying in this movie. If you look at the cast of this movie, you would think that it would be much better than it is. It is better as a farcical comedy than it is anything else. There are questions upon questions upon questions, but there is this weird charm between the two of them, between Melissa Joan Hart and Jason Priestley, both of whom are just, I don't know what's going on there, but whenever they're on screen together, there's something weird about it that kind of works, weirdly enough, but it's terrible. The movie's very, very bad. Podcasting time, otherwise. I think there's 8 people in this movie. I mean, literally. Nikki Whelan, her husband, Ed Begley, his wife, Melissa Joan Hart, Jason Priestley. Who else?
Hank, the HR guy.
Hank, the HR guy, and then Penny. That's it. That's 8.
Robin
That's
Givens.
it. 8 people.
I think the only person in this movie without a speaking role is Hank, the HR guy.
That's right.
So if that's what qualifies as an extra, there's only one extra in this entire movie.
There's 7
only one
people.
extra in this entire movie.
There's 7 people in the movie. It's a 1-act play. It could have been done on a stage somewhere.
Possibly was.
Oh my gosh.
It's the holiday version of No Exit.
Oh, you know what? No, there's a few other people that send in videos.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
They're not actually on sets, but
they got away with that as well.
Got a Hillary Burton in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. Let's go to all the feels where we talk about things in this movie that gave us feels. Alonzo, any feels to be found for you?
I agree with you guys that the two of them do have chemistry, and I think in a movie where they weren't like in a soul-sucking void of emptiness, that might actually take us somewhere. I was glad that Ed Begley Jr. was in this, less so than I was to actually see Ed Begley Jr.'s performance, because you're right, he wanders in, reads a cue card, and wanders out again. Right. And Faith Prince, she's like Broadway legend, and I think was also on like Melissa and Joey or one of the MJH TV shows, but. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, I admire the effort to like Christmas it up as much as possible without having like, caroling
People.
or tree lighting or anything that would involve like a group of some sort or other. So it's like, well, we got a tow truck. We're going to have marshmallows in that tow truck, dang it.
That's right.
So yeah, I admire the effort, and I think that there are some performances here that might have worked better elsewhere, but not
Alonzo,
much.
Brandon didn't know who Ed Begley Jr. was, and he was like, "This guy's awful. Like he's and I was like, "You don't understand. Like Ed Begley Jr. is a national treasure."
He did have a familiar face,
but in this movie, and then I explained to him he was in Sitwell and Arrested Development. He was like, "Okay, that's who he is." But like I was like,
St. Elsewhere is before y'all's time.
He's
I
got
guess,
300 some acting credits. Like
Lord.
like he's unreal. But in this movie,
he used none of those to help him prepare for this.
He's just showing up and reading a car. I don't know how else to describe what. It's almost like he is doing an inside joke for just him. Like I don't know how else to describe what he's doing in this movie. And he's not. I looked him up. I was like, maybe he's just getting old. He's like 71. He's not like super old.
I think maybe just to be the most generous read is like he's trying to play sort of like a befuddled dad, but it's just a befuddled performance.
It is wild.
He's barely there. It's crazy.
I had feels when they were decorating the house. For some reason, it gave me feels. We see decorating montages in every movie, but there was something about them. Like she was excited to see him again. It was, after the first time he said, "I'll see you tomorrow." He uses that line a lot, but they do see each other tomorrow, and she's pleasantly surprised, and they stop. Dan, stop.
Bran, did you like the "we don't have a connection" line? Did that score with you?
I didn't. Gosh, I don't know. No, it bummed me out. I think a little bit.
This is a safe space. You could admit it if you want.
Yeah, no, I think it bummed me out a little bit. But the overall decorating scene I liked a lot, and that's what I'll go with.
Yeah, this movie is interspersed with 3 videos of people that are sending in videos about their love story, and that's a bit from When Harry Met Sally. Rob Reiner used, didn't he use actual couples? I believe.
No, those are all script. Those were scripted actually by Nora Ephron. Yeah, and that also was in turn a play on the Warren Beatty movie Reds.
I'm sure it was.
older people who were contemporaries of the characters were kind of giving their testimony
That's
about
cool.
what actually happened.
And so it's a fine idea, and by and large, it doesn't work in the movie. But there's one where the guy's overseas and they're talking, and there's that one I have some wait what's about. But there's a moment in there which really works, like when she finds out he's coming home, and it's not an actual troop homecoming. I thought it was a really sincere, genuine moment. I was like, oh, that actually did work for me. So there you go. There you have it.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back with the wait what's if we
do
can
it.
find any.
Okay,
If
if
we
we'll
can-
see, we'll
if
see
we
what
can
happens.
scrape some up off
We'll
the
have to
bottom.
dig.
We'll see what happens here in Dead or Horror. We're talking Dear Christmas here on Deck the Hallmark, and I'm here with my good friends Dan Alonso. Guys, what a joy. I just want to stop and just say
Thanks, man.
thankful,
Much appreciated.
thankful for friendship.
Yeah, of course.
Let's get to the wait what. Now that we got that out of the way, I checked that off the to-do list.
You
from
only
Tracy.
need 3 people to have a great holiday.
That's
Clearly.
right.
That's exactly right. We're 3 or more.
You want to go crazy? Get 7.
Ooh.
It'll get out of hand.
Look out. Let's do wait what. I'm going to start with Alonzo. Alonzo, what you got?
I feel like I owe a sincere apology to the Allison Sweeney Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, where she plays a true crime podcaster, and everybody's always listening to the show as she's recording it. Because I thought that was as bad as it was going to get
Nope.
in terms of like TV movies that don't get podcasting. Ay, 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 this movie. Okay, first of all, this is a podcast that is dedicated to the notion of talking about love at the holidays. Whatever holiday it is, Valentine's Day, July 4th, Thanksgiving, Halloween, she'll do a thing about it. A single person giving you advice about how to deal with love at the holidays is the #1 podcast in America, and somehow goes beyond 1 year. Because what happens after you've hit all the holidays? You have to then find new things to talk about.
She's got a
showing
book
up at
out.
Thanksgiving single. Yes, there's a book. Like, what is left?
Yeah, how
to even talk about?
How unrealistic is it that a podcaster is just writing a book?
Oh, that's nonsense.
God.
That's never happening.
BS. I will say this. I was confused about the premise of the podcast as a whole because I assumed that it was her telling other people's stories based around the holidays. And we see some stories sent in, but we never actually see a podcast that's doing that.
But-
or we never actually
Right.
get to hear it.
The one thing she does every episode live, not just the Christmas Eve one, because the first episode she does, she finishes it and she turns to Penny and was like, I just finished doing that one. She says we're doing it live. I appreciate taking your calls. She does all of them live. Like, that was my whole deal is that she has an online radio station. She does not have a podcast. They're different. They're different animals. And she doesn't do a podcast. That's not what she does. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, you could maybe find the online radio episode in podcast form, but what she's doing is broadcasting live. That's what she's doing. When we do the marathon live, it's not a podcast. We're live streaming ourselves doing something else. When we did the Cookie Palooza, not a podcast. Like, it's
When we record a podcast live in front of a crowd, live podcast.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. When you're listening or watching this show, this was weeks ago.
That's right. Weeks ago. Don't tell anybody.
Stop.
We don't even know what Christmas in July is all about yet.
Little peek behind the curtain.
That's
It's a
right.
shame what
How dare
happened.
you, Alonzo.
It's just a shame what happened in the middle of July, huh?
Oh, man.
We can't comment on current events.
No.
What a
No,
shame.
Of course not.
Nothing. So, all right, I get that the Jason Priestley character is named Chris Massey, so everybody calls him Christmas, and he's Mr. Christmas. But, like, what happens when a tow truck shows up in July or August or February with Mr. Christmas on the side? It's like, again, we see this so often in these movies where it's like, I know, make it a Christmas ranch, or I'm a Christmas podcaster. It's like, yeah, that's great for like 2 months of the year. Trust me, I've written 2 books about Christmas movies now, and I understand there's a limited window when anybody wants to talk about this stuff, and the rest of the year it's like it goes
Contrary
away.
to belief by brain.
Right,
Again,
well,
I call BS.
Actually, no, I take it back. Christmas podcasting has become a year-round thing for
Thank
a lot
God.
of folks. But nonetheless, it just seems like a weird brand to have, like, throughout the year. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, as we've said, the COVID is so apparent in this
man.
movie between the sparsely filled scenes, the empty bookstores and restaurants.
It's the
and
most
then
COVID
and-
movie I've ever seen.
Ever.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, it makes you appreciate every other 2020 Christmas
Yeah.
movie that went out of their way to make it not look like the Walking Dead. You know, so that was just bananas. That is so not Jason Priestley singing
No.
when
way.
he is playing the guitar, and
No
I'm sure
way.
he can and could, but it's just so weirdly dubbed. It was like I don't know. I don't know what that's about. Like, this guy made a documentary about the Bare Naked Ladies. I'm sure somebody could teach him how to sing 4 lines of A Christmas Carol, and it would be fine.
I bet it would only take like 1 week.
Indeed.
Yeah. It's been.
Finally, since you looked at me, not Jason Priestley.
Even with just with them being the only people on screen, which happens a lot, this movie also feels really padded. Like, there
Yes.
are pauses in their conversations
you.
could just drive a truck through.
Yes.
You know, and like even the glass blowing scene goes on for a really long time. And I'm sorry, glass blowing scene, you are no Christmas and Evergreen Tidings of Joy. That is a glass
That's
blowing
right.
scene.
That's right.
The whole the pregnant sister's story about meeting her accountant and how he immediately wanted to start filing jointly. That's a creepy story. That's moving way too fast, and I just found it all very unsettling. The boss and the HR guy, after 4 days they found true love, but they've known each other for 5 years, not being in a
Love takes
relationship,
time.
so that counts. So that's going to set us up for the whole crazy
Love
8th
takes
grade
time.
nonsense. And then, after her live podcast, she immediately comes downstairs and says, "It went viral." You already have the #1 podcast in the country.
There is no viral.
What is the measure by which that goes viral if you're already at the top of the heap?
Yeah.
Everything's viral
That's right.
at that point.
Everyone in the world listens. Yeah. The
Clearly.
the MASH finale
You think-
numbers like triple it.
You think old Joe Rogan's getting excited every time someone writes an article about him?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we are.
it's- Yes, exactly. We have somewhere to climb to,
Yeah.
but like if she's already the #1 podcast in the country, then
That's ridiculous.
yeah, I got nothing.
I want to piggyback off the #1 podcast thing and just say she is a #1 podcast in America. But she chose, for reasons unknown to me, to drive, and I Googled it, 29 hours from Chicago to Lake Tahoe
That's right.
instead of flying.
Yeah. Yeah.
She is she said it was only 12 hours. I Googled it. It's a 29-hour drive.
The zombie apocalypse closed all the airports.
That's right. You don't understand. She's got to take all back roads, zombie free roads.
You know what? You know what? If this movie would have just come out and said it's taking place during COVID, which there are things that are said that imply it, then that's fine.
Nurses,
like if you
nurses and first responders,
Yes.
certainly, yeah, that's a thing.
just do it. But like they don't say it, and so then I'm forced to come to terms with the fact that somehow Joe Rogan's driving 29 hours for the holidays to save a few dollars.
I don't understand that. I don't understand.
Her parents are bragging about a window display. That is not a window display. A display of something that takes place in a window but points into the store is not a window display. No. If you have
Display
to
in front
go
of a window.
inside to see it, what it is, it's not a window display.
I wonder what that cardboard cutout is.
I wish I'd
guess we'll
aim
go
it
inside.
towards the window.
Maybe on the back side of it, it says something else. That is a window display. Maybe it's reversible.
Oh.
Maybe the other side is also her smiling.
They're playing
Yeah.
3D chess.
4D chess.
4D.
3D
No
chess is
humans
what we
here.
all play. We all play 3D chess.
No humans here. Keep moving.
That's right.
The tree that they take from the back of the truck into the house could not be more fake.
Yeah.
In fact, I was worried about it coming apart as they took it out of the truck. There was a noticeable weird bend thing going on there. It was going to snap. Very concerned about it. She didn't recognize him, didn't remember really his name. She had a crush on the guy
In 8th grade.
in 8th grade.
Yeah.
She had a crush on him.
Didn't
Wrote
remember.
it in a notebook. I know she
Full
had
page
lots
of
of.
the diary.
I know she had lots of crushes. They make that perfectly clear, but she forgot entirely the existence
Of this guy.
of a crush.
It's got to make you feel good.
That's pretty wild, huh?
Pretty wild. Pretty wild. Yeah.
And at the very end, this is my last thing. It's not an engagement ring. It's just to show you how I feel and that I want to have a future with you.
That is pretty much an engagement
sounds
ring.
like an engagement ring to me. It's not an engagement ring. It's just I want everyone to know that I love you and that I want to spend the rest of my life with you. That's all.
Yeah. But not an engagement ring.
It's not an engagement ring.
Is that a promise ring?
They, in keeping with the theme of they're doing all the high school things, the dance and everything else, maybe they could have, that would have been a better route to go. Right?
Because that's what adults do. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, and I just want to bring up one more thing. We watched a movie last week, a Sugar and Spice
Yeah.
holiday.
Yes.
They have a very nice dance scene, Christmas ball, whatnot. This movie, we have a nice fireman scene, ball scene where they dance. The same song.
Yeah.
The same song. Now,
right.
listen, I know these movies in real time aired weeks apart, and there's nothing they couldn't have
There's
played
nothing we
for
can
us.
do.
They
Yeah.
couldn't have played for us
No.
the same song. And I know because I hated it.
Yeah. As soon as it started, Brand was like, Dan, I kid you not. It's the same song.
I remember thinking,
If you say
30
so.
minutes ago, man, I hate this song.
Yeah. We did
Hope
it
Brand
again.
is again.
Kevin, may I suggest to you that the things you don't want to do if you'd like to live, zombie apocalypse or otherwise, you do not get into a tow truck stranger's truck and drink hot chocolate out of the mug that he's provided for you. You don't do that. You don't ever do that. She doesn't know this guy, and he's like, there's some hot chocolate in the truck. Go get you some. Not a good idea. Would highly recommend not do this. Hey, why is her room full of boxes? The family did not just move to that house.
No. That actually gets explained.
Okay, what is it?
The pregnant sister says your room is being turned into like a gym or a sewing room. My room is being turned into a nursery.
So they just
That's why-
decided to
So all their
pack it
stuff
up.
got boxed up.
I'm
yes.
glad I got the answer to that question. He's decorating this house professionally, and he's going to leave a bright yellow extension cord just running up the side of the wall. Like, come on, guys. Like, I hate decorating my house. I would be caught dead doing that. Can you imagine, like, in the daytime, just seeing a giant extension cord in the middle of the display? Like, be better. Hide it. Make it the same color as the wall. Do something.
Put
Like,
some festive duct tape on it.
act like you've been there before.
We'll
Look,
work through this together when I'm
Hey,
decorating your house.
I love it.
We made
Hey.
the agreement.
yeah, I'm buying your decorating. I like it. Hey, look, I am all for the local bookstore. In fact, buy I'll Be Home for Christmas movies and do so at a local bookstore if you can. You can buy it in advance, local bookstore. You can do that as well. However, the parents, Ed Begley Jr. and what's her name? I forgot her name. I can't believe I forgot.
Faith Prince.
Faith Prince. They bought a bookstore in 2020, a local one, and they said this line. They said, investing in a local bookstore was the best investment we've ever made. These people are broke. They're broke. They don't have any money. The best investment they ever made was a 2020 local bookstore.
Not only that, then they follow it up by saying, and we were investment bankers.
That's right.
Yeah. So clearly they were terrible at it.
Brick and mortar selling paper books in 2020 with window displays facing in.
We thought it was going to be Doge. We thought Doge would be the best investment. We were wrong.
Wait, I
Hold,
wanna
people,
pick-
hold.
I want to piggyback on that real quick. Also, this is a book where, yes, they do have a big cardboard cutout of their daughter, but they also have a book that's like the, manager's choice or whatever. Is the manager's choice the book by their daughter? Do you think they'd really be pushing? It is not.
Oh,
It
my
is
gosh.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I mean, they've got standards, Alonzo. There's
Clearly,
nothing that we
yes.
can do. Best
Nepotism only goes
investment
so far.
investment we've ever made.
Listen,
was
daughter, your book's good, but it's no Rudolph.
No, of course not. Look, at one point, Melissa Joan Hart puts in earbuds, and Lifetime wants you to know that they're fancy and have Bluetooth earbuds. Those earbuds are giant. They're massive. They're red. They're bigger than her entire ear. I don't understand.
They're no Raycon. I'll
There are
tell
no
you that
Raycon.
much.
There are no Raycon E25s. There are no Apple AirPods. There are none of them.
Kim
They're-
Kardashian wouldn't be caught dead wearing
They're
those.
massive. They look like pennants you hang on your SUV on the way to a football game. They're giant. Why? Why are they so big? If the couple on Zoom, if he's going to propose to her, why is he saying that over Zoom?
The only thing I
where
could assume was that he sent the video, and the only thing
they're
must,
talking together.
Yeah, but she walks out.
She walks out, but either her speaker's on her computer or she's got smaller earbuds in, right? You can't just say that when you're on the line with your hopefully fiance
I mean,
one
we
day.
know she didn't have the ham radio earbuds in.
And then we got a few coming down the stretch regarding this pregnancy, which, you know, I normally, I know you got to fake doing the pregnant thing a lot of different ways. I could see the lines of the basketball here. Like it was not good. But
Wilson.
yeah, exactly. Why are we so sad that she's going into labor? It is heartbreaking when she starts having contractions. They play the Charlie Brown music. It's sad because Melissa Joan Hart can't go to the fireman's ball with Jason Priestley.
Melissa, she did you a favor.
She's having a baby. Just meet him the next day. She's in labor, for crying out loud. Like, things are more important. I don't understand this. You know what, though? Go ahead.
Yeah, and then Jason Priestley, rather than go to the hospital when the
Bingo.
ball is over.
Yeah. He's like, the answer is, I'll meet you at the ball. Now, I guess I'll wait for you here in case that whole labor thing doesn't take all night. Womp, womp. What are you doing? But you know what? Jason Priestley's right. Because if I had known the baby was from Mattel, I would have done the same thing. Like, American Sniper was taking notes over here. It is literally, I could thump the baby. It's just plastic. It's unreal.
I've never in all of my years.
It is. You just keep going back to the scene, and they're not even trying. It is a plastic
Melissa
baby.
Joan Hart at one point tries to bring the blanket up over the baby doll face so you can't see it, but we see it.
It is a way that the baby in this movie is why we do this podcast. It is that much of a wait what. It is a gray plastic baby doll. It doesn't move. It doesn't do anything. It's brutal.
I'll have to. I took pictures last time this was on TCM. I'll have to send it to you. There's an old 60s movie with Connie Stevens called Susan Slade, where she has a child out of wedlock, and it's a whole big thing. And there's a scene where the baby accidentally sets itself on fire with a tow lighter, and it's like the rubberiest, plasticiest fake baby. John Waters said that scene inspired him to become a filmmaker.
I bet.
So this is the proud history of terrible fake babies.
This
They don't
baby
make
is
them
the
like they
fakest.
used to.
It's the fakest. It's unbelievable. That's all I got.
It's time for What the Lifetime is part of the show. We wonder what could have been. Maybe haven't given some clarity to the questions that we still have. Alonzo.
Well, first of all, I do want to give kudos to the #1 podcaster in America for her very sage advice, which I'm sure we all can back, which is, at Christmas time, don't eat too many cookies.
Oh.
That really landed for me this time. Yeah. No, beyond that.
I got to be honest. It's a month ago. It feels like yesterday.
2 days tops.
The big question is what happens when she runs out of holidays? Because there's just so much you can say about falling in love at Halloween, and at some point,
This
you will
Flag Day, fall in love with.
You will have gone through Arbor Day,
That's right.
and whatever else, and it's like I don't know, #1 podcast in America. You better diversify and quick.
That's right.
Good luck with Memorial Day.
Oof.
Am I right?
Yeah, you're
Not to
right.
be confused with- which is not the same as Veterans Day, you guys.
Yeah.
Not at all.
You gotta figure it out. You picked a very specific
Veterans Day, she could do just fine.
Absolutely, no problem.
But Memorial Day, tough sledding.
Can I teach you about the dot system? All right. I have one, and it's very simple. It's what is Hank the HR guy? I just this movie. It's on DVR. It's on the on-demand on Philo. Just go find Hank the HR guy
And see if you can make heads or tails of what's going on there.
He is the most interesting person I've never heard say a word. I just look at him and I'm just like, you seem fun. he seems fun.
If the character had said, "I've fallen in love with a Dutch fashion photographer,"
Yeah.
then yes,
Like,
he does not look like the.
There's
HR
no
guy.
way he works in HR.
No
There's
way.
no way
No
that
way.
guy works in HR.
No, unless he murdered the HR person. He did
That's
not.
possible.
Yeah,
He does not know what forms you need to fill out to get your insurance claim.
No,
And he won't tell you because he can't speak.
I felt like it's a part that should have
He
been.
gives a thumbs up at
He
one point.
should have been played by Fred Armisen.
Yes.
Like, that's a Fred
Fred's
Armisen
doing a bit,
role.
man. Dude, Fred is
Armisen
doing
would,
a bit.
Would crush that role.
Do you remember when we were at ATX Festival in Austin, Texas, and we went to the premiere of what was that show?
Which show?
On USA. The night it was the big theater.
Oh, the Queen of the South.
Queen of the South.
Yeah.
And there was a character at the very end that looked like Fred Armisen,
Exactly like Fred.
just tagged along for
Yeah,
it, and he was having a ball.
He was.
didn't say a word.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
still-
it might have been
to
Fred.
this day, I'm
It might have been
convinced it's
Fred.
Fred Armisen who just was in
Might
town.
have been Fred. Might have been Fred. I think if Fred Armisen's not doing a bit there, I think they realized they needed a Hank, and it was like, hey, the key grip.
Dude,
Let's
he's a
he's a key grip. Let's
got
get him
key
over
grip
here.
all
Put
over
some
him.
makeup on him. Let's good to
Yeah,
go.
or it's like Robin Givens' assistant or something.
Yeah.
Like clearly with somebody in her pod if she could sit next to him on a couch.
It was just unbelievable.
Amazing. I love that guy.
To be the 7th person or 8th person in this film. I mean, God bless him.
Dan, do you have one?
I do. First of all, Earmuffs, the podcast network, questions because, if you've got answers, writers, let me know because this podcast network has a full high rise of office suites and has the #1 podcast in the country. And it's a holiday podcast. And so
I mean, they're the iHeart.
they are the iHeartRadio, but do they?
But even
does
iHeartRadio-
iHeart have a high rise and have all their podcast hosts come in the office to do their podcast?
They probably have multiple floors
Do you
in
think
a
that-
high rise.
are they people recording there?
Yes, 100%. There's
Really?
people recording there. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Learn something new. But
Not everybody. I
my
mean,
main one
they're
is-
not going to make Will Ferrell come into the office.
no, my main one is at the end of this movie, Jason Priestley's character is driving his truck and he's listening live to the radio/podcast when he hears the Declaration of Love, and he's in a Santa suit, and he's driving somewhere, and then he basically turns around and comes back to her. Right? That's what happens in this movie.
I think.
Is it the next day?
It's hard.
No,
to
it's still
no,
it's
that
also
night.
Christmas Eve. I
So
think.
my question is that why is he wearing the suit?
Yeah.
But maybe it's just
Christmas Eve.
okay. But okay. Fair. Do you wear a Santa suit on Christmas Eve?
Listen, what
That is
Alonso
none of your
does.
business.
But my next question is, if he's wearing it and he turned around, wherever he was going is disappointed, right? Like wherever he was supposed to be with the suit on is like, where's Jason in the Santa suit?
Sorry, orphans.
That's right. Someone somewhere is upset that Melissa Joan Hart made the Declaration of Love.
Someone walked in. They were listening to Heart of the. What is it called? The podcast.
Holiday Love.
They were listening to Holiday Love live, and they walked into the room, and they were like, "Guys, I'm gonna go out on a limb.
Son of a bee. He's not coming.
We've got to pivot. This is bad news.
Unbelievable. That's all I got.
We did it, everybody. Congratulations. We'll be back tomorrow with some more Christmas fun. And we'll be back next week with some more Christmas fun. Christmas in July, just because it's done doesn't mean we're done. We're still going. Isn't that
Still
right, everybody?
rolling.
Just
Exactly
getting
right.
started.
Alonso, you want to leave everybody with some parting wisdom? You're a wise guy.
Sure, yeah. I'll tell you, a lot of your favorite networks are not the #1 podcast. Sorry, a lot
right.
of your favorite podcasts, rather, are not the favorite #1 podcast in the country and do not have the support of networks and gigantic advertisers. So support them, whether
I love
it
it.
is becoming a subscriber directly to their program, like, say, Bramble Jam Plus, or their Patreon, or the network that carries them, if you're, say, a Maximum Fun listener. There are a lot of different ways to support the hard work and time that goes into making podcasts. And those of us who are not the #1 podcast in the country appreciate it greatly.
That's exactly
We
right.
certainly do.
Thank you to everybody who listens and who supports us. It means so much. We'll be back tomorrow with another one. And until then, may we be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmarks of Bramble Jam podcast. It's presented by Philo TV. It's produced by Brandon Gray and recorded live in, Greenville, South Carolina. Set decor is by Plum at Haywood Mall. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on Bramble Jam Podcast Network, you can go to bramblejampodcast.com.